So here we sit, hard to believe, but in just over 2 weeks, the madness begins. The majority of North Texas school districts are going to have students returning to the classroom.
That's right. And the new school year is going to be filled with unfinished business, at least in the state legislature, at least when we are talking about teacher pay raises. It's been something that's been discussed for a while now. And Jack Fink spent some time with two educators about how they view the challenges.
My name is Jack Fink. I work for Duncanville Independent School District, and I've been teaching for 25 years now.
My name is George Cuba. I work in Irving ISD, 1 year as substitute teacher and the last 2 years as a math teaching assistant.
George Cuba, who works at Singley Academy, and Jack Fink, who works at Brandenburg Intermediate School, represent the different levels of teaching experience in North Texas classrooms, but they share the same passion.
I'm always looking forward to meeting new students, working with staff.
It's always nice kind of coming back to seeing them a year older and getting closer to graduation.
They're concerned about what lies ahead. The new school year is set to begin as Cuba and Trice, along with thousands of other Texas teachers, counted on receiving a raise. State lawmakers, though, didn't approve a pay increase for teachers during their regular legislative session. They'll consider doing so during a third special session this fall as part of a $5 billion boost in school funding. So what's your message?
I was very disappointed when it came down that we would not be receiving raises. So I was thrown off by it, and it kind of hurt because they always say we're important, we're needed, and we are. But when this happened, it showed me that, well, are we really that important?
I always said, like, teachers are important, they're heroes, and like when it comes to put the money where the mouth is, there's nothing.
To help recruit new teachers and keep those in the profession from leaving, Governor Greg Abbott's Teacher Vacancy Task Force made a number of recommendations, including funding a significant increase in overall teacher salaries. The report, released earlier this year, shows newer teachers quitting in higher numbers than those with a lot more experience. Both Cuba and Trice told me the COVID-19 pandemic brought them to a point where they nearly walked away from teaching.
But I was thinking about my family, I was thinking about my own health. That was a point in my career where I was just like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. And I had to calm down and just think about, okay, we need to be here for these kids.
You have students who are a bit more, how do I say this, unruly, and some of them really push the boundaries like extremely far. And so because of that, some teachers have resigned. So I've thought, twice about it.
But at the end, you decided to stay with it.
Yes, for the past 3 years, I built a relationship with my coworkers, my school, and my students, especially my students, and I care about their growth and development.
The Teacher Vacancy Task Force found nearly half of the state's teachers said student discipline problems are a top concern. Cuba, who is hoping to become a full-time high school math teacher this year, says he's experienced it too.
Just disregarding teachers' directions, talking back to teachers, just small issues like that. And those kinds of issues, like talking back to teachers, that led one of my coworkers to quit because it just became too much.
Trice, who taught in Georgia and Illinois before coming to Texas, says virtual learning during the pandemic hurt student achievement and socialization skills.
And then once they came back into school, it's like starting all over. It was more than day one. It was like, how do you do school again? The consensus has been with most of the teachers that I've worked with through the teachers union, they felt as though they weren't really being supported when it came to discipline.
Despite the challenges, Trice and Cuba say they are not giving up on teaching. Are you hopeful for that things are going to get better?
But we're going to still keep fighting. I'm still very hopeful for that. I still get excited when it's time for school. I'm excited about, what I'm going to do. What I love about teaching is the opportunity to see a person grow. And I also have the opportunity to be really creative and helping them, get to the next level.
I am hopeful that things will get better. I mean, it's only, things only get better when we do our best to try to make them better. I mean, personally, I don't want to leave, but if I'm made to leave, then that's a sad thing. We don't want to push away people from not being teachers. We want people to see that teaching is a viable, not just a dignified profession, but a viable profession.
In Dallas, Jack Fink, CBS News Texas.
Some very important insight there. You can watch Jack's full interview with the teachers on our website, cbstexas.com.